What's going on, everyone? My name's Eric, and today on the channel we're going to be talking about this guitar here. This is a Jackson JS22 7-string. I recently put it on my Instagram page saying I got it for a really good price, like really cheap. I put a little bit of TLC into it, changed some of the hardware, and then I said the guitar rips. And out of nowhere, that kind of blew up, and a lot of people were messaging me saying, hey, we want to see a video on this, hey, we want to learn more about this, we want to just get to know why this guitar is so amazing, and also how'd you get this guitar for so cheap, and what can we do to mod our inexpensive guitars to make them awesome. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. I know there are a lot of people who have maybe some inexpensive guitars, or they're maybe buying an inexpensive guitar, maybe like a 7-string, just to try it out and just kind of see what it is all about. And because guitars don't really go bad, not like a perishable item or anything like that, you could take your very first guitar or your budget guitar and use it as a bit of a mod platform. To give you all some context, these guitars are around $200 or $300 brand new, and I got this used for roughly $100. Now when you consider these guitars, they don't have some of the craziest specs on earth. Like the body wood might be made out of like the most cheapest wood you can think of. The bridge on this guitar is kind of a no-name bridge. We have no-name pickups, or at least had no-name pickups, and we have just the regular tuners or non-locking, a regular nut and things like that. And something else to consider on less expensive guitars is that you do run the risk of maybe getting hit and miss in terms of quality control. This guitar really checks out. And for $100, if you get a real winner, like I did in this case, like this is gonna be a really wicked mod platform. Real fast, the mods, I changed out the bridge pickup for a DiMarzio Chris Broderick 7-string pickup. I then had to use a bit of different screws on here just to make sure that direct mount pickup would mount for a actual pickup mount here. The bridge I thought about changing, but I'm just gonna leave it. It feels pretty okay. It does the job, intonates and everything like that. So there's no real reason to change it unless you are being a little bit picky. I then changed out the electronics here. This guitar has a volume and a tone, but I actually switched to them, so the volume is back here and the tone has now been disconnected from the circuit, because when you're playing metal, you generally don't use the tone knob, and instead of playing and accidentally hitting the volume knob, I figured I'd move it back here, just get it out of the way. The fretboard has then seen better days, so I hydrated it and cleaned up the frets as well. Looks brand new, looks and feels really good. The fret edges on this guitar are really good, and again, getting back to the whole quality control thing, you might find some duds in here, but if you are wanting to try your hand in working on frets, maybe this is a good project for yourself to tackle. Then moving up to the nut here, I used a little bit of Music Nomad Tune It. Shout out to my friend Jeremy who works at Music Nomad for sending me that and a lot of products. That is helping this guitar stay in tune a little bit better. A little bit of foam under the nut here to help with the sympathetic vibrations, so when you are recording with this guitar, you're not going to hear that nasty string noise. It's just going to get cut right down, which is, again, really nice and a really inexpensive way to keep your guitar sounding really awesome. I thought about changing the tuners on this guitar, but maybe later. And after finishing the mods and getting this guitar all set up, I was actually really impressed of how well it played and how well it felt. Like, it felt like a really quality guitar outside of, maybe feeling a little bit light because of the body wood here. But that doesn't really matter, because you're gonna be plugging this thing in and you're gonna be riffing on it. So we're gonna do that right now. And that was the $100 guitar with a little bit of TLC in a full demo mix. And to be totally honest, I am very happy with the results of this. Now, even though I'm using some really quality guitar plugins and I know how to mix a little bit, the guitar is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. And the fact that I can get all of that from a guitar that really doesn't cost a lot of money, maybe a little bit of sweat equity to get some new pickups in and to redo the wiring and set the guitar up, I would want to keep this guitar and play it live. This is a sweet guitar. The only thing I can think about that is kind of negative right now, where it currently stands, is, you know, the bridge might get a little uncomfortable. These adjustment points are kind of like digging into my hand a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. Those saddles can be changed out later on. The tuners should be upgraded for sure. I did notice a little bit of tuning instability, but that could also be in part to the lighter string gauges on this guitar. This guitar is tuned to drop G with a 10 to 62 set. Bump up the string gauges, you use some more of that Music Nomad tune it, and you use some locking tuners. I think you're gonna be in a really great position with tuning stability on a less expensive guitar like this. But yeah, the whole point of this is just to show you that you can get some great results with not a lot of money. And again, a lot of people are on a budget who watch the channel, and I totally get it. I have a couple budget guitars that I honestly just love because they're great workhorses and they are sentimental in some way, shape, and form. And this guitar as well, this is a really great one. Like, this is a winner. The fretwork is really good. The truss rod works and everything. Spending more money on things will get you better results in some way, you know, but when it comes to things like guitars, and if you are willing to learn and get a little bit of sweat equity into this thing, you're gonna have a really sweet guitar for not a lot of money. I even remember Jim Root from Slipknot saying that he wanted to take his Squier signature guitar, throw his pickups in it, and maybe give it a full setup and then play it on stage, just to kind of prove a point that, again, you don't need the super expensive guitars to go play on stage or make an album. And there's a couple pictures floating around online of him playing his Squier Telecaster on stage with his pickups, and it's all set up with his strings and everything like that. And if he can play with Slipknot in front of 20, 30, 40,000 people, or however many people each night, and play a Squier guitar if he really wants to, then I think you and I can take a $100 guitar, throw a good pickup in it, redo the electronics, give it a bit of a setup, learn something new along the way, and also have a really killer instrument to show for it at the end of the day that might keep you re-inspired to play this guitar instead of just selling it. I love modding guitars and I love doing these kinds of things, so I'm more inclined to do stuff like this. If you don't like doing any of this, or you don't feel confident in yourself for doing this, you might have to pay a little bit more money for a guitar that is set up and spec'd out to your specifications. But there's no real right or wrong at the end of the day. It all depends on your personality and what you want to do with your free time and your money. So that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you learned something new. All thoughts and opinions down below. I'd love to hear your take on this topic and just this guitar and what you learned from this video. If you really liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. I have tons more videos like this on the channel. And if you really like what I do, make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that I upload. Thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you next time.